Welcome to Municipal Affairs. Last month, we traveled to the Haines Junction, Yukon to take part in a major milestone, the 50th anniversary of the Association of Yukon Communities. Over the 3 days, more than 150 delegates from across the territory came together to share stories, tackle challenges, and find common ground on the issues that matter most to their communities. Now, after the convention wrapped, we had the pleasure to sit down with President of AYC, Hancher, Mayor of Watson Lake, to reflect on the significance of the 50th anniversary, talk about what's next for the association, and look ahead to the future path for Yukon's municipalities. President, thank you so much for sitting down with me at the end of the 50th anniversary of the Association of Yukon Communities. We just wrapped up day 2. You're about to head into your AGM tomorrow, but how are you feeling after celebrating 50 years of your organization?
I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling obviously exhausted from the weekend. It was a lot of excitement and a lot of networking, but I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling, pumped for the next year. I think that we've got a lot of work to do, and
So what do you take from this now? Because I'm assuming the work doesn't stop now for AYC until next year, the 51st. So what do you as president do with the information that you gathered today from those informal meetings and the sort of break sessions?
Well, I mean, there's already some things that we're working on, such as reviewing our policy papers. And obviously, we're going to have our AGM tomorrow, which will result in potentially, I think, 8 resolutions. So after that, we'll just be basically actioning that.
So this is a big year for the organization, but also a big year for the Yukon because you're heading into territorial elections. Last year you had municipal elections. This year you're heading into territorial elections. You had the premier, you had the leader of the opposition, you had the leader of the third party here. What was it like to have them here, hearing the concerns and issues that municipalities across the Yukon were raising with them?
I mean, it's great having them here, and all 3 parties have always been very supportive of this organization, and they always make a concerted effort to attend our events and stay involved with the membership. Sorry, what?
Will you be looking at potentially holding, I don't want to say forums, but will you be looking at releasing policy statements that you're hoping that the premier or the leaders will be addressing in the upcoming territorial election?
Yeah, sorry. So actually, even before this AGM, we obviously we know that this election's coming.
If you didn't, sorry to surprise
we just didn't know when it was going to be. So if it was going to be this spring or next fall, but I mean, it's looking more and more like it's going to be the fall.
Yeah.
In fact, it has to be, I think, before November 3rd. We've been working on some election readiness stuff for quite some time. We have a subcommittee created within our association, and have been working with a consultant, well, I don't know if it's a consultant, but an advisor, to really refine our advocacy down to 6 main areas or points. And we're not quite sure how we're going to be relaying that to the parties just yet. We're still working through that. If it's going to be a forum, if it's going to be, one-on-one meetings, or a mixture of all of those things. There was some interest expressed from our membership that they would like to see a more public forum setting, just to kind of add that level of accountability. But we're still just working on the content at this point.
Well, I will check in with you a little bit later
Yes.
this year. This convention is being held in Haines Junction. This is my first time being in Haines Junction. I'm assuming not your first time.
No.
But Mayor Strand has opened the doors, and I think about 150, from what I heard, I could be wrong there, delegates from across the Yukon gathered together. What's it mean to be able to gather like this in Haines Junction, and the backdrop of one of the most gorgeous backdrops I've ever seen for a convention? How is it being here in Haines Junction?
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's
welcoming.
It is welcoming. It's such a gorgeous community. Like you said, the backdrop is absolutely stunning. Actually, the very first AYC conference that I ever attended was in Haines Junction back in 2019, I believe.
This building?
In this building, in this exact spot. So it means a lot. We always try to have the conference outside of Whitehorse, just because, especially if a lot of our dignitaries and guests are coming from Whitehorse, it's really easy for people to maybe not attend all of the events, or you have people that are from the communities and they're in Whitehorse and they want to run to Walmart or whatever, because we don't have any of that stuff in the communities. So it's nice to just have it in a setting where people are able to just focus on the conference, and then we can also kind of contribute to the local economy here as well. All of the hotel rooms are full. We've got a local caterer and whatnot. So,
and I can imagine that's an economic boom for those smaller communities who might be struggling since COVID-19.
Oh, absolutely, and it's the off season as well. I think they see quite a bit of traffic through the summer months, but it's still technically winter.
One of the big things that happened during this event was three past presidents and yourself as president now got together and talked about the past of AYC and what the future holds. I was in there, but I want to just ask a simple question to you. What does the future of AYC look like in another 50 years at the 100th anniversary?
Oh my goodness.
Growing?
I think so. We're definitely going to be probably taking a stronger approach to our advocacy and policy work going forward. And with that, we haven't really talked about this at length with the membership yet because it's still just ideas being thrown around. But we talked about maybe increasing the capacity of the association, whether that means like more like policy people or things like that, but that's still so early. And again, just ideas at this point. I like to think that in 100 years, it'll be similar to what we have now, where, we have the ability, these great relationships formed that we're able to all come together and still work through whatever issues might be coming up at that time. Who knows in 100 years what they'll be. Probably the same things.
I was going to say, by the sounds of the conversations I've had over the last 2 days, the same conversations that people have been having for the last few years about around infrastructure, housing, mental health and addiction. While it's not a laughing matter, are you hopeful for the future of the communities with the challenges that are still persistent after so many years?
Yes, I'm always optimistic. I think that, I can't remember who said it, but that saying where it says when you get a small group of dedicated people, anything can happen. So, and I think that's really true for this association and for us as Yukoners. We're just very much, when we sink our teeth into something, we're...
So, last question for you. It's an important one.
Okay.
We're done the AGM. Sum it up for me. What happened over the last 2 days, looking back, and how does it set you up for the future?
Ooh.
Give me the elevator pitches Doug Griffith said.
What happened over the last 2 days? We had our membership come together. We were able to network, catch up with each other. I feel like a lot of the really important stuff happens at the AGM, of course, which is tomorrow.
But people heard from a lot of different various backgrounds of RPAY, from FCM, from AYC. You had delegates from, Doug Griffith, the keynote speaker. Mm-hmm. It seems like you have a various group of people who want to come and talk to your members. Yeah,
actually, it's awesome when people find out that we're having this event year after year. We get tons of offers for people to come and present to us. I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there for people in the north for us to take advantage of. And and I think about the keynote. You mentioned Doug Griffiths earlier. I know myself included, a lot of us left that presentation after with like, yeah, let's go. We were just right pumped up because he's, of course, incredible presenter. So
I had one mayor tell me that he has to go change the name of his motto on his sign because he's not the hidden
yeah.
So first off, I do want to say thank you. Thanks so much for allowing me to come here. I got to meet some great community members, and I'm looking forward to being back in the 51st AYC, wherever that may be. So Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris.
We also took a moment to speak with the host community mayor, Diane Strand of Haines Junction, at the event about having the event in her community and what it meant for her community to host leaders from across the territories, including territorial party leaders. Mayor, thank you so much for sitting down with me. We are here at the 50th anniversary of the AYC in Haines Junction. We're in your council chambers. How's it feel to have every municipality from across the Yukon descended upon Haines Junction for a few days.
You know, we've been looking forward to this for so long. As I had mentioned in my opening remarks, that we vied for previous council. They're like, we may not even be here, but we know how important the 50th is, and we want it in Haines Junction, and we have the beautiful scenery and the space, and so we've been really excited about having people here, and so
it's a big economic driver as well. All the hotels are booked out, so I'm assuming the hotel people are happy.
Yeah, there's been a couple of people that actually told me they had to drive back and forth from Whitehorse because they couldn't get hotel bookings and all the Airbnbs gone.
That's the name of the game, right?
Yep.
So you hosted. This is coming to the end of the 50th. What's your key takeaway from what you're hearing from your fellow mayors as you enter into this new 4-year term?
Well, I was really, I absolutely loved our keynote, Doug
Griffiths,
yeah. I really liked what he had to say, and it got my juices going and really thinking. We've just finished our council initiatives, and it felt like, oh man, I want to redo that, because what he talked about really made me feel like, who are we? Like, what is our story? So that is something that I'm going to be bringing back to council to say, hey guys, let's figure out what our story is. Let's go through. I'm not going to say it's going backwards, but we're just going to take a few steps back, I think, and actually really solidify that piece. The other part that I was really, what I was really taken with was the panel that just finished on the 50 years with the past presidents of AYC, and hearing what their take is on different things. And being Indigenous, being First Nation, it is one of the issues of having our First Nation just so close. And, well, as he had said, it's like a little donut, and where those citizens of Champagne-Ajac First Nation can't vote, and yet they're part of our community. They're here, and yet it feels that not being able to, include them. And we know that there's a lot of work. It is something that AYC is looking at, and we are looking at here, and we're trying to push this forward and move it forward and have the discussions on how to make that happen. So I was really impressed with that piece, that somebody else had brought it up, and it was, great. And also...
Just on that note, because Gord Curran, the mayor of Teslin, gave an excellent presentation on collaborations with First Nations, Indigenous people. You're surrounded by First Nations, Indigenous yourself, First Nations. How important is it for a municipality to come out of this conference to take that away and say, okay, we have to start building that stronger relationships with our First Nation partners, because we're all in this together. We might come from different backgrounds, but we're all in this together right now.
The leveraging that we could do is that alone is why we need to move forward. And we also need to be able to look at reconciliation and, really be able to say the truth. The other day I was sitting here thinking, we'll be having our meeting. We do meetings with the Champagne-Ajac, and so next week, and I'm thinking, reconciliation is on the agenda, and I'm like, okay, how are we going to bring this forward? And it feels really awkward for me, but when you hear about other governments saying sorry, but also looking at the truth.
Yeah.
What is the truth? What happened with the Indigenous people here in this community and the village of Haines Junction coming to be? What is the truth there? And I know that there is some things that people may not want to hear or not want to really become a part of, that it may be scary, it may be something that you're afraid of, because
you
it's
don't
the
want to
unknown.
misspeak, you don't want to step on a toe, and it can be challenging.
Well, when you speak in truth,
yes.
This is what happened so many years ago, and you still have family members and community members, and it's like, oh, like your ancestor said this, and this is what the town had done, when you know those pieces. So how do you reconcile together. And so it feels strange for me, being Indigenous, and then to go and say, we need to say sorry. And I'm like, but that's also me.
So do you have to look in the mirror sometimes to do that?
Yeah, it's like, okay, how do we go?
Yeah.
How are we gonna, go through that? Because I don't think it is just the council, like the incorporated body. It is the town. It is the whole town. And, like Doug Griffith was talking about, this is the town. It's the people in the town that we really do need to have that reconciliation with. And that may take time. So
one of the big events for the 50th anniversary, and Haines Junction was in the forefront of it. The Premier, the Leader of the Official Opposition, the Leader of the Third Party, ministers, cabinet ministers, MLAs from all parties, and the Senator was here.
Yeah.
All in Haines Junction. This is very rare, probably not in the Yukon, but for some municipalities, it's rare to have so much power all congregate in one
And Chief
community.
Joe was here.
And Chief Joe.
Yeah.
How was that interaction? Because you were able to get a front row seat and chat to all these people who make power decisions in the Senate, in the Yukon legislature, First Nations. How was it to speak with them in Haines Junction about the issues that Haines Junction are addressing?
I thoroughly enjoyed having the time that I was able to spend with Senator Pat Duncan.
She's so nice.
Oh, she's an incredible
I
person.
asked for a photo because I'm a photo person.
Yeah, she is such an incredible person, and the work that she does, she really works hard. She really does work hard, and she does work hard for the Yukon. And so it was really nice to sit and chat with her, and we've made a coffee date now. So because there was some things that we really do want to, to bring forward and to chit chat more about. And she's like, yes, I can be used, like use me. And so that was great. That's great. Premier Pillay he's always fun to be around.
He seems like a bowl of fun.
He
We
is.
met him at the Visitor Information Center while he was walking in. I think he thought that's where the event was, or the quilting event was, so he was trying to get in, and I asked him for a photo there. He didn't seem to just recoil, but he seemed really fun.
He is. He's a real fun guy. He used to be the executive director for Champagnat First Nation, so I worked with him, and so we have this relationship with him. And next week, the three premiers are coming here, are coming to Haines Junction. They're having their tri-territorial meeting
In Haines Junction.
In Haines Junction at Daku next Friday, Saturday.
Wow.
They're gonna travel down to Klukshu, a traditional village down on the Haines Road. We're gonna take a trip flying to Mount Logan. So it's going to be...
Haines Junction's popping these days.
Yeah, Haines Junction's doing great. Yes. So
you enjoyed meeting all the parties and all the dignitaries that came?
Yeah. And I really feel like tonight when we have our, we're hosting the meal tonight, and with the Dakwakata dancers coming, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and to see, like a little bit of culture that is here in Haines Junction. And and being able to, like I say, show off really, a piece of who the people are. And so having the dignitaries and people, from all over the Yukon to come and witness that, I think is really important. I'm excited.
My last statement from me is I want to thank you so much for A, hosting, B, coming on the show, cross-border interviews, and C, having a beautiful community. I have fallen in love with your community. I feel like I've not even done it justice for the amount of touring that I've been trying to do at 4 o'clock in the morning before the convention and after the convention. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you so much for having us here and for allowing me to record in your council chamber. So thank you so much.
Chris, thank you for coming here. Thank you for, helping us put Haines Junction on the map, and for people to actually really see what our little town is all about. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate all the people coming here and seeing and being a part of who we are.
Mayor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll want to take a moment and thank everyone for tuning in for another episode of Municipal Affairs. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's episode and gained some valuable insights. We also want to take a moment and thank those who have made the trip up to Haines Junction, Yukon a success. And take a moment and thank the team at the Association of Yukon Communities for having us during the 3-day convention in Haines Junction. We look forward to being back in Yukon later this year for the territorial elections. Now, to stay in the loop with all of our latest episodes, don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube, and follow us on social media. For even more content and learn more about the stories and people we feature on this show and our sister shows, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. Now, your support means the world to us, so share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Municipal Affairs later this week. Till then, everyone.